right, good afternoon. Welcome to this workshop for Temple City Council. It's February 1st. Moving right on through. First is any public comment?
No, sir.
There are none. Moving on to the next item is to discuss maybe need any regular meeting agenda items for tonight's meeting. I do have a note here that we're going to pull item F. So Mike can do what he does. Sorry, Mike. So we'll pull that one. Anything else that needs to be pulled, council or staff?
I just wanted to, let me see what number, N, item N. Thank staff for doing that. That was kind of nice to repeal the fixed food establishment dealing permit fee. It was small, $50, I think. So it's minimal, but I think that goes a long way.
I asked Jen if I could claim it on my red tape reduction. Yes, so.
I was actually gonna give just a really brief overview. So item in regular, I sort of don't hand in hand, but item N was adopted by resolution. Regular item number 5 was actually one for the ordinances, so it does require us to repeal it by ordinance, and therefore we have to have a public hearing. But just to give a little background, our office and city secretary, we collect the food dealer's permit fee and the alcohol permit fees. And in December, we sent out renewal notices to several fixed establishments here in Temple, and we received an email from a restaurant here in Temple who has 9 other locations across the state of Texas. They had received an email from another municipality that had a restaurant in that they asked us what we were gonna do about Senate Bill 577. Well, it wasn't on my radar. It's really in the health and safety code, which didn't come up during our legislative update. And so we did some investigation, and I did kind of a comparison with cities around here and to see what they were going to do, because basically the Senate bill is 2 pages long, so I won't read the whole thing, but in the middle of it, it basically states that if you are a municipality that is located within a county that has a public health district that also collects a fee for food dealers or alcohol permits, the municipality can no longer collect that fee. So it's basically, it's one less step that a business has to do. I understand the meaning behind it. Because it really is, we don't monitor the food dealer permit fees. We don't enforce anything. If they don't get them, we don't even know about it. We only issue them when someone walks in an inspection from the health department, or they bring in their license from TABC. So we're really just a middleman. We were allowed to, for years, to collect a portion of what the state fee is. So essentially, this new Senate bill is cutting that out for us. So tonight, we, in comparing with other cities, we are the only city in Bell County that actually charges a food dealer permit fee. So that was one important reason to get rid of it. And then the alcohol, it was kind of a mixed bag, probably half. I looked at 20 cities, half of them collected alcohol fee and half of them didn't. We could, but we didn't have to. So we're just simply asking council tonight to repeal those 2 fees and just to make it easier for the businesses that are going to come into Temple. And
So that's by law,
yes,
so it doesn't get to be added to the red tape reduction.
exactly.
One of them's by law,
Don't get them all.
one of them's not. And we could still require them to have the permit, we just couldn't charge for it. But it just brought to attention in our discussions that there really was no good reason for us to be dealing with the permit. So, and it was that we can't charge for the alcohol.
Right.
We could charge for the food permit, but it just kind of opened an evaluation and we're not adding any value and it's just cumbersome for the client, for the restaurant. So our recommendation is just take it away.
Good.
So I feel like we get a little bit of red tape reduction.
I think that we did.
Yeah, and I just faded.
This went into effect September 1. And so we did collect some fees between September and December when this first came to us. So all those fees have been refunded back to the entities.
Even better.
And we're sending out letters to everybody in Bell County who has food dealer's permit or alcohol permit.
Good, very good. Ms. Walker, would you like to pull that to make that comment?
Well, Jan is gonna
I'm gonna
explain
talk
that.
about
That'll be
it
enough.
under the regular item size.
Okay. Anything else? Nope. All right, very good. Then item number 2 is to receive departmental updates from airport, public works, which will be fleet, solid waste, and transportation. Airport's up first.
Mayor, Council, thank you for having me again tonight. I'm happy to be here as a representative for the Temple Executive Air Center. It's been a fantastic first quarter in the building, rocking and rolling. Thank you to many of you who came out for the grand opening. And if you haven't yet been out there to see it, we'd love to have you come out and visit. Some of our accomplishments this last quarter, I've included public tours just because we share the sentiment as the airport department that aviation's for the entire community of Temple. And it's been a fantastic way to not only be a gateway for those coming into Temple, but also for those people and citizens of Temple to get exposure to the aviation community. So we've had plenty of grandkids and their grandparents, kiddos and their parents, and everybody in between coming out to visit the airport. We also hosted the Civil Air Patrol. They had 2 UH-60 Blackhawks come out for a ride along. Really made me wish I was a part of Civil Air Patrol, but I'm not. It's a fun day. We completed our customer service team, and many of the different departments within the city were instrumental in helping us get them not only found, but hired, onboarded, and ready to rock and roll. And we'll show you a little bit later the fruit of that. Successful grand opening. Like I mentioned, thank you all of you came out. We have had a lot of publicity in a lot of different fronts out in the aviation industry. So some of the front-running publications for the world of aviation. We have had specific features in International News, Flying Magazine, and Global Air. Thanks again to the marketing team for helping us out with that. We also implemented 1200 Aero to assist us with our key performance indicators, as well as give us real-time information about the location of aircraft on the airfield in the area, owner operator details, which will help us be strategic as we go out to sell the new FBO. We began a new training program through our fuel provider. We joined the MBAA, which is essentially like your diploma on the wall as an FBO. So it really put us on the radar for being a fixed base operation that plays along with the big boys. We've also strengthened our network with hotel and rental cars. When we were initially moving in, we had some difficulties in making sure that provisions were made to customers that were coming through, and we've established some networks and looking to expand upon that just to make sure that everybody's taken care of all the way through from the minute the plane door opens till they get into our beautiful city. We've also opened up some transient aircraft storage options as an additional revenue stream, exercised our 1-year service renewal with Avfuel, purchased our electric 6-seat golf cart, which has helped us serve our customers well and served well our green initiative as well to move away from gas and diesel powered products. Our airport mini market and amenity bar has been great for customer service. People love it. If you haven't come and gotten a cookie from the airport yet, come on by. Even if you can't buy any jet fuel, we'll still give you a cookie. And then we also work with marketing to update some of the pictures that we have for the airport. You'll get to see some of those here next. Use that to update our flight planning publications and launch flytemple.com, again, in conjunction with our marketing department. In the first quarter, we've launched, we're rocking, we're rolling. We wanted to hear feedback from the customers that are using the airport. And I'll start by first showing you some of the material that marketing helped us put together. So like I said, if you haven't been out there to see the FBO yet, please come and see it in person. Pictures are great, but being there is a whole different experience. Some of our customer reviews, as we've sought to get feedback from our customers, we've primarily focused on AirNav and ForeFlight, which are the front runners for schedulers and dispatchers as they plan where they're going to head, and even our small piston aircraft customers. Having these reviews is not only beneficial for us to get great feedback as far as what could we be doing better, but we have not gotten a lot of feedback that has told us what we could be doing better, which is a great indication of our amazing customer service team and our airport staff as a whole that is just taking great care of customers. Again, there's more reviews, and these have just inundated our presence on the internet. And so we're very glad that when we say that we seek to provide exceptional service without exception, that trickles all the way down from the city manager's office to our customer service team. And it's reflected in the way that people have provided feedback on the FBO. This next picture I'm about to show you is worth a million words. So I know it was mentioned in the last time that I presented to you, how much medical traffic do we have? What is the application of that aircraft awning? And while it's great for sales and building a reputation, and everybody that I get to talk to, every pilot says, I cannot believe that there's a municipality that has an FBO this nice, with the biggest awning we've had in the state. But when somebody's having the worst day of their life, and it's hard to tell, but this was a day that I happened to be here and it was pouring rain. And I have had the unfortunate experience in the past of watching a pediatric patient be loaded in 110-degree temps and in the rain. And that is not something that our patients and our citizens of Temple experience. This was a comfortable transition for that patient on one of their worst days of their life. So I wanted to kind of put this before you guys as just a mark of success of what that was really geared towards. So thank you all for that. And it has helped serve to help market the FBO, but this is really the application of it. So what's coming up ahead? We're looking for partnerships with Temple ISD, Belton ISD. We'd extend as far as Moody, Troy, Academy, the local school districts, just to, again, follow through on our sentiment to connect the students that are coming, the next generation with the aviation world. That is something that gets me so excited, and it's been a blast to show people around the airport, but we want to put that into a more structured format. And there's programs that exist in the industry where airports can partner with these organizations and help connect them to the schools to help share aviation with the next generation. We're exploring the opportunity of working with the library to put together some of the historic information that we have from the airport. We have a lot of good stuff in the old FBO that we would like to hang on to. And even if we don't bring it to the new FBO, we'd like to be able to put that in front of the people of Temple so that they can see that. It's kind of funny when they hear that we're the airport department, sometimes 50% of the time it's, I didn't know Temple had an airport. And we love to find ways to creatively put that information in front of the citizens and welcome them into the world of aviation. We've updated our T-Hanger waitlist procedures, and that is going to go public on flytemple.com. Again, holding true to the sentiment that we want to be a transparent organization and look forward what we're working on internally and give people real information about where they are on the wait list, because we know that T-Hangers are a hot topic out there. We're doing some other things procedurally just to help make things a seamless transition from the customer getting off the airplane and into town. And then I call this my marketing sandwich, where AvFuel, we partnered with them. They're going to send out an email blast to target markets, owner operators in the Florida, California, the East West Coast markets before we go to schedulers and dispatchers as first time, the Temple Executive Air Center, where we'll get to meet with our existing customers like SpaceX, Niagara, Polar, but also canvas other opportunities and really sell what the Temple Airport has to offer. So we're excited for that, and a follow-up from AvFuel as well. This is a cool one I'd like to highlight, just a thank you to the Parks and Rec department, because Sarah at Summit, she helped us get together some gym passes because we don't have a workout facility at the FBO, but with our courtesy cars and some gym passes, pilots that are here come in the morning, spend all day, they can really get access to a gym, and it's just been another amenity. And we'd like to explore that with the golf course as well, if those guys would be willing to work on that. We're prospecting athletic charters for 2024. I've been contacted by several football teams, UMHB, Texas Tech, Utah football, that have had negative experiences in traveling to Central Texas to play Baylor, and they're looking for their options. So we'd like to keep that open if we can. Same goes for JSX Airlines. If you don't know what they are, I'd encourage you to look it up. It's basically a pay by the seat, but sort of a pseudo private jet commercial travel experience. And our airport is really positioned well to serve that kind of an operation. So we'd like to see if they're interested in having a presence here. We are, yes.
Go get them.
Hold on.
Counting on you.
I blew them up on LinkedIn. So I don't know who that salesperson is, but they are probably like, who's this crazy guy? So if I'm not in their board meeting somehow, I don't know. But we've begun, I say, preparations for the solar eclipse. We just are not putting out, we're not actively advertising, but we want to be prepared. We're flagging ourselves as an option, but we want to be prepared for an influx of traffic. I spoke with several airports that were along the path of totality in 2017, and they had anywhere between 400 and 500 airplanes for that day. So we just want to make sure that we can still provide exceptional service without exception if we do get an influx of traffic. I know this has been talked about at length, but we as the airport want to join the rest of the city and just being prepared for an influx of people for that event. And we're also looking at adding new ground services for APIs. Like I mentioned, we switched to tracking via 1200 Aero. I could get into the techie side of it, but I won't bore you. It picks up real-time information as aircraft are transmitting them while they fly. So we're getting a lot more accurate data about actual operations at the airport. And as you can see, we've ticked up. So we've split them into takeoffs and landings now. It's kind of a joke in our world that you want to have in your logbook an equal number of takeoffs and landings, which we don't, but that's still just reflective of typical operations in and out of the airport. So they tend to be landing and staying here. I can't say that it means that people are staying and parking and just never leaving again, but we're getting real data from the aircraft. So we've seen an uptick overall in our traffic. This is kind of the behind the scenes things that myself and our team are looking at, information and very valuable data and metrics that we're getting that'll help us drive decisions in the future. So we're getting our top origin airports, destination airports. So when we make efforts to reach those markets, we can see the real fruit of those labors, or we might notice a market that we hadn't anticipated, and then we can focus some efforts there. This is your IFR METAR data. And as you can see, this is the ice storm that we had, and it's reflective in the traffic that we see on any given day. So you can see as weather spikes, operations go down, and I think it's just a really beautiful picture of the relationship that aviation has with weather. And then this is the top operations by engine type, 70% being our piston customers. So we're glad that they have just thoroughly enjoyed the new FBO. It's not just for SpaceX, it's for the little guys too, and they thoroughly enjoyed it. This again is just a reflection of our intentions to create additional revenue streams for the FBO. There's a lot of untapped untapped revenue streams for the FBO that we've tapped into, and there's still more to come, like athletic charters and a few other options that we're going to explore. Our total combined fuel sales, this is Jet A and 100 low lead combined. We've seen a steady uptick since we got into the new FBO. This month, we just pulled the numbers this morning. It wasn't great, but again, we had 1200 Aero to reference to say, well, operations were way down for an entire week. So that's the marriage between fuel sales, weather, and air.
Down the week of the cold week.
Correct. Yeah, when we had ice.
Yeah.
Ice is
Yeah.
the worst enemy of airplanes. So we did not see a lot of traffic that week. These are our jet fuel sales. And one highlight from here, even though you can see that there was a 20,000 gallon drop in this fiscal year versus first quarter of this fiscal year versus last, there's a little bit of a narrative here. So while our base customers have traditionally been kind of our babies and where we are most hoping to collect the most of our fuel sales from, we've seen a significant uptick in transient aircraft, which again is an indication that we are seeing the fruit of our labor in reaching those new markets. This drop in military sales is likely a result. We've sort of become a de facto reliever airport for Fort Cavazos. And so when their fuel facilities are down, those guys are looking for another place to get their gas. And we take such great care of them that when they're down, it's like music to our ears. And we say, bring it on over to Temple, and they'll do their uplifts there. So we're glad to have that renewed DLA fuel contract. This is a number that just blew us away. These are our avgas sales over the last quarter. The cool thing about this is, in my experience, the 100 low lead traffic tends to trend towards growing with sort of a grassroots marketing platform, if you will. So they spread word, they say this was a great airport to go to, we enjoyed it, we had a blast. And so it's less of a decision to be made for them. It's $100, $200 decision versus the corporate travel, which is $30,000 to $40,000 a trip. So we hope to see a similar trend with our jet fuel sales. Not much has changed here. People love our self-serve, they love our full serve. We have some of the best prices in the state, and people are just blown away by what all they get for that price. So thank you. Have any questions? Right, hand it over to John.
Very nice.
Yeah.
We all sort of, there have been times when the big canopy's sort of been made fun of.
Yeah.
But seeing that picture, that's sort of makes it real.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Pretty good.
So first of all, I'd say thank you to Andrew. He's been one of the best hires ever. And his knowledge and his ability to do the graphs and get into the weeds and all that stuff is just still amazes me every day. And I really appreciate it. But my part is basically just talking about the airport as a whole. You know, the infrastructure of the airport and things like that we're trying to market and attract business to our airport. We still try to do our community outreach. As you all know, we do our monthly food truck event. The last event was in October, and we had just over 100 visitors to come. I think it's getting more and more popular, and being able to go and ride a helicopter or an airplane or get information about getting your pilot's license has really helped, increase that attention. We kicked off the planning of our air show, put it on your calendars, May 17th, 18th, and 19th. We also participated in Transportation Day. We got to take our brand new ARF truck and put it on display before we put it into service, and all the kids loved it. And we're working with the emergency management group in preparation for the solar eclipse event. We're looking at some possibilities of having some air support during the event so that we go up every hour, giving feedback on traffic, any civil unrest, any incidents or things like that we need to report to the command post. Even down to if the roads are all packed, we can help give them the best route to get to any emergency as well. First time participating in the Christmas parade. Our group had a fantastic time. It was a lot of fun. I think everybody enjoyed seeing the new fire truck. We also hosted a promotion ceremony. Lieutenant Colonel Jeremy Walters was promoted, and that was a neat event. And then, of course, just recently we hosted the library stargaze party, which even though it was mostly cloudy that night, they still had 40 people show up within that. So some things going on with our hangars and facilities. Mr. Small came to us and advised that he'd like to build a private hangar. And since then, we've been coordinating with him and getting things rolling. And as you know, on the council that you guys approved that at the last council meeting. So I also received some information and some attention from a property management company that's interested in building T hangars at the airport. So I've been working with them. KPA and Covey began the envisioning project for the old FBO building. That's really a neat project that's coming along. And we also worked with Airport Business Solutions to actually do a hangar feasibility study for us, give us some costs and some market analysis of make sure that we're charging people the right rates and things like that. So that's all coming up. WCNR, that's the company that's leasing the two large, previously known as AMCOM hangars, and they kicked off construction. They're widening the hangar doors on that hangar so that they can fit larger aircraft in there. They have a tentative lease agreement with SpaceX to house their aircraft once this project is done. And most of you showed up, and we sure appreciate it. We did a ARF station dedication to Derek Henry, a firefighter from the airport that passed away. As I mentioned, we got our new fire truck. DOD comes and inspects our airport every year so that we can continue selling fuel to the military. At this last inspection, we received a 100% with no discrepancies. They're pretty happy about us and continue that relationship. The ARF guys started doing interagency training at Station 8 with the new fire truck, and thanks to Chief for getting the fuel burn pit prop for us. And I think it's going to be a great relationship on helping Station 8 guys get familiar with ARF truck in case, we're not there and they can hop in it and take over and get things done. We had several employees celebrate 5 years of service. Our ARF lineman, John Newman, and our maintenance tech, David Utter. And then a 10-year service is Evan Shepard. We still have one part-time ARF position open, and you'll probably see it in the budget retreat. We're going to be asking for that position to become full-time because we just can't get anybody hired as a part-timer in the ARF position. So projects, we completed the FBO. We're in the final stages of signing off the corporate hangar phase 4 project. And we've been working with TxDOT Aviation and HW Lochner on doing a T-hangar ramp rehab for us and a taxiway D realignment project. So here's the burn pit that the fire department graciously got for us. As you see, it's about a 400 square foot pit, and all the piping you see is the natural gas that comes up, and they catch it on fire, and our guys put it out. This is hand line training where you approach the fire with a hand line, and then we have a little video. So what's ahead? We'll continue with the air show planning. We resumed food truck events in March, but we decided to do a little different schedule. Every third month, we're going to have it on a Saturday so that we can include families and kids because not all of them obviously can come out on a Wednesday. So you'll see that coming up on the schedule. And of course, solar eclipse event. Can't wait for that to be over with. I'm sure with everybody else. Construction will begin here within the next couple of weeks for Ross Small's private hangar. The property management company has submitted a letter of intent to us on this project. So it's going to be moving forward a little bit with some design, and then we'll sit down with Bryn and Aaron and those folks and go over it and see what may come out of it. We'll be finishing up the FBO envisioning concepts, which we're looking at some office space and a restaurant at the old FBO. And of course, getting that market research study back to us. And by the late March, WCNR is supposed to be done with the door widening project. Some items that we were budgeted this year is updating the radios for the ARF guys. And we got some SCBA's replacement. The old SCBAs were expiring. So in this year, we've gotten a lot of great grants. We're going to update completely our automated weather observation system. We're also going to get, as I mentioned before, the T-hangar ramp rehab project, taxiway D realignment project. We're also going out for an RFP to refurbish our fuel truck, give us several more years in the life of that truck. And then we need to do some painting and stuff like that on the ramps and taxiways. So far this year, we have no ARF responses, thank goodness. All of 2023, we had 6. And grants that we're receiving this year is $2.877 million. So we've got lots of great funding coming from TxDOT Aviation. Thanks to Tracy and her folks for helping us find the matches for all this stuff. Whereas last year in 2023, we only received $846,000. So far, operating and revenue expenses, October, November looked pretty bleak for us, but that's because we were spending a lot of money to get ready to move into this new building. So a lot of unforeseen costs were made during those 2 months, but then December, after we're in there for a good month, things and operations are getting back to normal. And that's all I have. Thank you for your attention.
Very good. Thank you. Congratulations on the new building. That's awesome. Council, anything for airport? Thank you, guys. We'll now move on to Public Works. Kenny?
I don't want to go behind them. Ever again. Just a quick update on transportation. Some of the accomplishments, we got the bid awarded for Austin Traffic Fuel to Signal Orion 317. We should have already been in construction, but they are still waiting on pole. So, and it's kind of the same thing with the loop lighting. My phone rings about every day about that. They're waiting on the wire. So we've had this contract for a long time. They're just waiting on the wire. Right now, it's looking like both of them are going to get their supplies in sometime in February. So get that started. But everything's under contract now. So 31st and Azalea, the redesign of the signal's done and it's put into operation. We also have the new signal up at Poison Oak. We just don't have it in operation yet. It's flashing yellow. Poison Oak at 317. So slurry seal, and we finished the first year of slurry seal and overlay. I don't know how many people saw the slurry seal. It seemed to work out pretty well. The company was outstanding. They come in and pretty much a turnkey operation. Best contractor I've ever worked with when it comes to paving management. So. And we've constructed several different roadways. We'll get to a couple of them. Some of the KPIs we've accomplished in the last 90 days, we patched the number of utility cuts, over 1,000 potholes, and trimmed 437 addresses, and several trees per address. We repaired 381 signs. We swept 968 lane miles of road, and we cleaned about almost a mile of drainage channel. The rain has slowed everything down for us the last 2 months, especially in construction. This is the slurry seal that we're going to get kicked off in March. It's hard to see. You can see the blue lines, but we try to keep getting neighborhoods instead of moving them across town. So the neighborhood we're concentrating on is in kind of the southeast side of town. You'll see where it says Inset. It goes right there. We're getting all in that entire neighborhood, except for a few streets that are just too far gone and do not qualify for slurry seal.
What's that main thoroughfare?
MUH.
Okay, that's fine. Good.
And then we broke out most of the other ones you see. They are either collectors or local arterials, minor arterials. They're really good. So in the next round, we'll get into another neighborhood. We don't want to move them. You know, it takes a lot of equipment to do this, and you don't want to do just one block in a neighborhood. And we will be having, we're going to be posting the overlay. We finished the overlay list. It gets a little more complicated. But we'll have it up and posted when you want to see it. It's going to start probably in May or June. So, which will be a complete overlay. Our concrete crew has started. We've got one run on Avenue H completed on the north west corner of the overpass. We have been inundated with utility cut calls for the concrete crew. That's what they've been working on for months now, plus the weather. So we're supposed to get kicked back off on this. We're going to try to fit in some of those calls. But once you start this, you have to finish it because you don't want to leave an opening in that sidewalk coming over that overpass. So, but it turned out really well. We widened the sidewalk to 5 foot from what it was, and we brought it all up to where it's all ADA compliant. So it's in the house. I will tell you this: I don't have the final numbers. We're working with Sherry. This probably was about 75 to 80% cheaper than a contract. So just to let you know.
Are you guys mixing your own concrete or you're still contracting that?
We do some small jobs that we have a concrete mixer we do, But this is all, we're buying it from,
Yeah.
we just got a contract for annual bid to have it delivered.
Good.
So,
Very good.
It's kind of hard to see from that picture. If you could go back, can you? Zoe and I went out here to do a site visit. See this area right here where the sidewalk connects up to the bridge. You're totally not able to, if you were in a wheelchair, I mean, it was just a really bad condition and you can just see how much nicer and safer that condition is. So it was a wild ride.
Councilmember, that grant, that was brought to your attention, right? You worked for city, good job.
we really wanted to already have most of it done.
Done now.
Well,
One
one
half.
quarter, we lost one quarter, we still got 3 more sections to go, but it's gonna, you gotta realize, this is we hired 5 people. And only 3 of them had experience. This was an on-site teaching. So I was impressed with what they pulled off.
We've been trying to get that concrete crew in the budget for what, 3 years? 4 years? So
Don't ask Kenny how long.
he probably knows. I won't look at it. But still, I mean, still though, that's,
He
I
asked so
mean,
many times he gave up and stopped asking.
it's there now.
It is there now.
We don't want to hear it, kid.
Well,
We're past it, bro.
I think we got enough work, we need 2. This is some of the utility work that was done. Whenever utility work comes through, you can see it's in people's driveways and stuff. I don't want to leave them open, so we break off and go do this. Instead of contracting it out, so. But they've done a really good job, and we've done, I think, about 15 or 16 of them. We have 6 on the books. They're finishing those this week, and they're gonna get.
So the concrete crews doing the concrete over utility. Not.
Utilities are paying for it, they're paying for the material, but we're doing the work instead of contract. Now, there is,
They're not,
Well, I thought you were saying the concrete crew
Not
is taking
fixing the
off and
pipes.
fixing the water line.
no, we're doing the dress up and fix things.
although Kenny does claim that his crew can do it better.
No.
Kenny
If you look here on Beaver Loop, on the left, this was conditions after the rain. This is what it looked like, and it's what it looked like that for a lot of years. You're still gonna see some water here because we haven't done the other side. But this was probably a heavier rain here, and that's what it looks like now. Once we get this side complete, because we don't leave the road blocked off the whole time. It'll look like that. We replaced the curb and gutter in the house. And then we replaced the asphalt. This whole lane of Midway fell, and you could drive over it and watch it squish. We couldn't wait on anything, so we rebuilt that part of the lane. So with that, we dug out a lot of bad material out of there and replaced it, so.
That
and
was
we're-
old bad material?
Yeah, the entire road. So there's no point in just putting asphalt. So,
But isn't that true really midway from point A to point Z? I mean, isn't it
It gets
all?
better on this side, but on the other side of the hill, you can, if you sit there long enough and you have enough patience, you can watch it move.
Great.
It's basically. There should have been a square in Temple about 100 years ago. Because your soil conditions change coming this way. So,
Kenny, is that crew, I mean, are they full-time doing concrete work? They're, I mean, like, it's not like Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they're pulled off there
Not breaking them off to do anything.
40 hours a week.
What they're doing.
Very
We're
nice.
not breaking them off to do anything else.
It'd be nice to know some numbers.
We're gonna have some, we're just now,
Dollars saved.
yeah, we're.
That might get your second crew.
Right. This is airport detention ponds. We had, for some reason, we had a total structural failure on one of the berms surrounding the pond. And, we had to go in there, we took the berm completely out, we replaced it with select fill and then put rocks on it to try to alleviate the future, from it happening in the future. In this one spot, I got to feel over it. Just due to the amount of rainfall, especially if it gets worse. Salmon's Park, that is where we did the dam repair, the dam was flowing the field. You see the guy holding it. We didn't really get any close up fixes, kind of get in the water, but nobody volunteered for that. Traffic signal, we didn't know this because you do what they call an A inspection every 2 years. So they went up to do an A inspection at First and U. That's what was holding that signal up.
What?
See where it's rubbed right there?
Crack?
That is all that was holding that signal up.
Oh, my God.
Now the wire would have kept it from hitting the ground. The wire took about 1,400. Yeah, it looks out. So we totally replaced that. We did some work for Lorraine Drive to try to satisfy some needs there, in traffic control. And then we put in operation 31st, and then 3rd and Zenith. We had to replace a lot of hardware there in those vast arms. TxDOT, when they rebuilt all that, they did not replace any of that, they kept all the stuff there, so we had to put a new master over the track and rebuild the heads. These are our new employees, and I didn't look at last week's weekly report, Don, are we still at a little over 90%?
45 of 55.
Yeah, so that's way better than what we were before. And Dogwood and Sycamore ready. Hopefully weather, we got a new blade in if anybody wants to come climb in it. It plays like a video game. So you can actually plug in grades and let it do it itself. So it's pretty nice. And so we get started on that. It's gonna be a big help in that neighborhood. Continue with the sidewalks.
Today is that playing video games is good for Troy's future. Third meeting I've been in, that some type of video controller was helpful.
I mean,
in that
this thing,
person's profession.
it almost reclines. You have cameras 360 degrees and you can see everything you're doing around you. It's really neat. So back when I was running Blade, I had to stand up because I'm short. I can't see, but I had to stand up all the time and run it. Then we have phase 2 of our seal coat and overlay. And then we have some drainage work to do at community gardens. We're going to increase some pipe size and do some burns. I don't know if it's gonna, there'll probably be something else wrong.
Are y'all
Great.
working on the culverts in that private road? Y'all do anything there?
Yeah, we're increasing the size of it. The school flashers on 2483 and Prairie View are the old stand-up, like single pole. This one is gonna be the big mast arms that go over. So this will be the last one on a minor arterial that aren't mast arm type. So as we're building the arterials for your own houses, we're gonna put the mast arms in. And then we'll construct the signal at 317, get the highway lighting done. And we invested a lot in driver feedback signs. We've got 12 locations where they're going out permanently. And they will continue to monitor traffic on those roads that meet more boards. We've got 12 of them meet the criteria. And that's it. Any questions?
Oh, I have a question. Just a second. What's the, talk about Dogwood and Sycamore because I get a lot of calls from there. Timing,
Once we get started, weather permitting, probably 3 months.
okay.
We will never close it down.
It being both.
Yeah, once we take it down and get base in, which will be the first thing we do, it's gonna be better than what they're driving.
Absolutely.
So, but the only way to make it work, the last time I redid it, there was none of the materials, the existing materials was took out. It was just reclaimed. And no drainage work was done, and that's part of the problem. So we're redoing all the drainage and going down and taking that old material out, and coming back to better material. We're stabilizing it all with concrete.
And I can say those words the best I can say them to residents.
Now we're gonna build it better.
Okay. Phase 2 of slurry seal and overlay, that's West Azalea also.
West Azalea is in the slurry.
Oh, thank you.
West Azalea is in the slurry. I meant to bring that up because I knew you were interested in it. It's in
I do get at least 3 a week.
We could have started that now. They didn't, we kind of pushed them to start it now, but they come out and said they really want it to be, they wanted to wait till at least March, so it stays 50 degrees all the time. And I gotta go with the professionals on it. I don't want to mess up and be on me because I need to call. So they would have started, but.
Oh, no, that's fine. They're complacent because I told them that they were phase 2.
Yeah, phase 2. So Any more questions?
Don't think so. Thanks, sir.
Mayor, I'd like to point out related to Kenny's last bullet about 12 driver feedback signs. We'll be bringing something to council very soon about the traffic calming policy, kind of updated.
Yeah, Kyle's worked with that on us on that, the new policy, and it's other picture of the speed conditions. Speed driver feedback signs and some other. Let me see. We're not changing any of the qualification numbers. We're just changing the method. The numbers are still the same.
Thank you. Solid Waste Division, I don't have as many before and after pictures as Kenny does because you don't really see our job. We just pick up the trash. So,
We destroy the roads.
we destroy the roads that Kenny has to fix. Yeah. As y'all know, we're part of Public Works. That I report to Ralph, the Assistant Director of Operations for Public Works, and then our org chart goes down from there. But 72 employees in our divisions. Some KPIs to go over. From October to December, I'll kind of highlight those. You can see the total mileage driven by our trucks. What was our, is it 364?
376 pounds per mile.
Yeah, so we keep up with the mileage and the tonnage. And if you do some division, you probably do it in your head, Mayor, but 376 pounds per mile is what we're figuring out that we're doing. So
Pretty cool.
yeah.
Your mileage is dropping off, Blair. What are you doing? October, November, December?
It kind of depends. Now this is total division, so roll-offs, commercial, you know, how busy we are.
Don't get defensive.
No. Trying to explain it. I'm sorry. I get passionate. December time construction slows down, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
We used to track that like how far to the moon and back.
We did. We'll throw that out at budget time or something.
So as a, what are total miles, we're not quite there, but 100,000 miles short of the moon. So we're about 154,511.
Oh, about.
I would have lied and just said we're becoming more efficient.
Well, that dollar per mile, or I mean pounds per mile, well, that's the goal. Get more efficient on that. So. Another thing I highlighted there is new sets. You notice September, October was kind of low, but then November, December it started picking back up again, and that's new homes. How many new homes are we adding to our routes every month? So new customers. And then at the bottom, I highlighted diversion rate. We stay around that 5-6% diversion rate for recycling. We need to be, I'd like to be at 20, but we'll get better as time goes on.
Would you tell us what diversion rate is?
Diversion rate is, so you take the total number of tonnage for garbage that goes to the landfill, total tonnage of recycling, and kind of compare that to each other. And so we're still throwing way more trash. You know, only 6% of that is recycled material. So
out of the 100% of what people put in the cans, 6% is recycling and 96% or 94% is still going to the landfill.
Because we're not putting enough into our green can.
correct.
They're not doing it
Correct.
right.
Yeah,
I could get a regular trash about once a month. Yeah,
except for stinky fish papers.
well, maybe it sticks, but I don't fill
No
a
kidding.
trash can up.
And it is based on tonnage, and a lot of time recycling is lighter, you know, if you think about block cardboard and things like that, so it is a tonnage that he's measuring there, not volume.
Sure. I still say, as I've said to you ever since you and I have started to talk about it, we need more public education.
We do.
The whole world needs more public education, but so many people don't break down their boxes at all, and I know you guys want boxes broken down, things like that.
Yes, we're working closely with our marketing department. Heather Bates, our team, is doing a great job, and we're actually getting some commercials out pretty soon. We got some grants on some other things that we've done, some glass initiatives and other things like that. Glass weighs a lot.
Yes.
So that's something that could help that diversion rate a lot also.
You mean if we added glass to our recycling?
Not to the green cart,
No.
but to our drop-off centers.
Oh, right.
Because we allow, we have containers there for people
Yeah,
to drop
sure.
glass off there instead of throwing it in the landfill, take it to the drop-off center, recycle it. And, but there's some opportunities where we're gonna get mobile and glass in the future, so we'll see that coming, so.
And I'll also point out that right now, if somebody chooses not to participate in recycling and they just have the trash can, they can still take all those boxes that they don't break it down. Right now, we allow them to just pile them up on the curb. It's bulk waste. Even though it's not really bulk waste.
Right,
Our
no.
rules are so permissive. They can just make a pile of that stuff that we have to go grab and then.
Enormous pile of exactly what he's talking about on East Drive today. Somebody cornered East Drive in the pond, they must have emptied their entire house of boxes just on the street.
Yeah, we'd rather move to a point where we're not stopping to use that very big piece of machinery designed to pick up big, heavy stuff, just to pick up small pieces of trash that could have fit in the trash can. So that's a future goal that we're moving toward.
Another thing I want to point out, I didn't highlight it on this slide, but food waste, kind of right in here.
Right there.
We started the food waste program in August. And so that was the first month of but you could see in August, we had 1.31 tons, September, 1.78, October, 2.34. And then it just dropped off a little bit. It started off great. When we first started, we had lots of people bringing us food and it's kind of trickled off some. So again, education, we have to get that out there. But it's kind of a new program we have, and it's exciting. We have a composter in our facility that takes 500 pounds of food and can create 50 pounds of amendment dirt. It's an amendment for soil. And a lot of people collect the amendment on Saturdays behind Gober. They go and take their bins and actually bring us food and then take the amendment back home with them that same day. So, but it's a neat program that we started, and Meta, obviously, they donated the funds to buy that piece of equipment, and they're also, as y'all may know, they feed their workforce out there, and they have rules and bins and all of that, and we pick up their food waste every day. So it's kind of a neat program. Some new employees. I want to point out just a couple of these. Amber Hall, new CSR in our office. She's our scale attendant. Not our skeleton, but our scale attendant. In our new facility, we have our own scale to weigh our recycling trucks and everything that comes in and out. And she's operating that window for us. And then Joel Alvarez, he's a new position for us this fiscal year, heavy duty truck technician. He works closely with the fleet department, but he's at our home and kind of looks at our trucks. He's the first line of defense and can fix a lot of stuff so it doesn't have to go to fleet. So it's a great acquisition for us to get that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, and then some other faces here from new drivers. So currently staffed 94%. So we're well staffed. Some highlights that we did since August, like I talked about the food waste composting program, we kicked that off. We got our compressor installed in our truck bays. And with that, with the heavy duty truck tech position coming on, we now implemented a greasing program. And I'm proud of this. It's something we should have been doing already. It's not anything we were really closely paying attention to, but I developed a schedule. Every truck, say truck A has to be on Tuesday at 11 o'clock, he has to come into the shop and get greased. So we got a schedule like that for all 52 of our trucks all week long to come in and get greased, and hopefully that'll cut down on repairs and maintenance and all that kind of stuff. So something we should have been doing, but I'm proud that we started doing that with our new facility. It's easier to do. So we started a resource hub planning. As y'all, we'll talk about more in the future, but we're gonna share a space with Transform Temple and housing development and do more recycling opportunities and paint reblending and that kind of stuff. And then we had a group attend WasteCon in Boston this year and kind of did some further education. So in October, we had our household hazardous waste event at our new complex. The numbers were down a little bit from previous years, but it really worked out well. We can have more numbers. It's just I think we still had almost 500 cars come through, which is a lot for about 5 hours a time. But we had them come through or drive through our complex, drop off the stuff, and had lots of material that was dropped off. November, we held our shred event, same thing at our new complex. So our new complex is working out well for hosting our own events there. So, and then as y'all know, y'all approved Rubicon as our new routing software just 2 months ago now. And we're getting that kicked off soon. So also this is our, as y'all may remember in solid waste, we name everything that's in our building. So this is Rudolph, our new tire wheel loader. This is the piece of equipment that pushes everybody's recycling and loads it in the truck. So moving forward next 6 months, I talked a little bit about Resource Hub. We're hoping to get that designed and that project kicked off. Increase glass recycling. We did receive a grant, and we're buying a couple of trailers, mobile trailers that we'll be able to put either on the west side or the south side of town, since we already have a drop off kind of centrally located on the east side, to give more residents a more opportunity to recycle glass. We're going to be implementing the routing software. We've already started those meetings and have a meeting tomorrow for getting the data and the routes, all that updated in the software. Maybe 5 weeks away or so from starting that. So container maintenance schedule. We have a new paint booth in our facility, and it's something that we really haven't started yet, but I want to start painting the bad looking dumpsters around town. So we're going to implement something like that, and then have a rotating schedule for every container for keeping them nice and pretty. So,
They need a mural on them,
yeah,
each one.
if you want to come out and paint, I'd be happy to have you come out.
Great.
You an artist, Steve?
No, I'm not an artist.
I'm not either. Yeah.
But I know people who know people, her name is Nancy Glover.
Yes, yeah. We're gonna start replacing the 300-gallon containers, the shared containers in the alleys. That's one of the things we're gonna start in the next 90 days, replacing those and trying to get that done. I'm either gonna be the most loved man or the most hated man, depending on who loves their containers that way. But it's one of those things. They promote a lot of illegal dumping, and then some residents can't use their container because their neighbors are filling it up before they can go out there and throw their trash. And so we're going to give everybody the individual container.
So you're taking the 300 ones away.
Oh, we're going to be closing alley.
The closing alleys. So like on the east side, where we have a lot of alleys that trash is in the back, but we recycle in the front.
Okay.
We're going to just do all services on the front.
Okay.
So we're not necessarily closing alleys. I shouldn't have put that. Yeah, it's going to be a good thing. But where there's neighborhoods like in Hillcrest, that area where we have improved alleys, we're going to keep that. So we're not closing all alleys. And where neighborhoods are designed to have alley service, we're going to keep that alley service. But where we recycle in the front and trash in the back, we're going to try to do it all the same. That's it. So.
Bryn, where your in-laws live?
Canyon Creek.
Well, the Canyon Creek area.
Yeah, they'll be in the alley.
It'll stay in the alley.
Yes, ma'am, it will.
Okay.
Did I say Hillcrest? I meant Canyon Creek. Actually, yeah.
because they do recycling in the alley already. They're
Yeah,
designed, like, they wouldn't have a way, your house too, they wouldn't have a way.
to get it to the front.
Kathy would have to take her trash to the living room.
Yeah.
Susan, that should really, like, more accurately, it would read that we are discontinuing alley service.
No, I understand. I understood that. So, I get it.
Okay. Sorry to make that confusing.
No, I wasn't confused by that.
If their recycling is currently in the alley, then their trash would be in the alley.
Right.
But if their recycling is currently in their front yard or front of their house, then their trash would be
No, I
different.
understand.
So they just would have, it will be a road by road basis, you know, based on what makes sense for that
Yeah,
area.
okay.
Waste management, as y'all may know, they're moving forward with the RNG, plant construction. That's a big deal. And they've already, I drove by there yesterday, they've already got concrete poured and the construction site's moving forward, so. Shred event coming up on, April 20th, and then, we're gonna also be doing our, recycling contest at our elementaries, like we've done in the past. So Mayor, I don't know if we've reached out to you yet or Janet yet, but
On the schedule.
on the schedule, good deal. So we'll be having photo opportunities with kids that win the recycling contest. And that's all I had. Y'all have any other questions?
We are gonna. We're gonna wait till another time to present, but I know we're pressed for time, but I just wanted to introduce everybody to the new fleet director. This is Mr. Chris Griffin. He'll be handling our fleet, so if you have any complaints or gripes or anything.
Good. Welcome aboard. Yeah, we're glad you're here.
Tim, we really can't welcome him aboard. I found out before the meeting started, because I tried to welcome him aboard. He's been here for a year. With City of Temple. So we can't really welcome him aboard. We're a year late.
Sound like you're gonna make it. After a year. Very good. Okay, we're pressed on time for some executive session matters. Ralph has, graciously agreed to be pushed to a couple weeks, so we appreciate those. Sorry about that. So, it is currently about 7 minutes after 4. We're gonna move into executive session. And we're gonna receive a briefing from the city attorney regarding property located at 2600 West Avenue G and pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071. Thank you, everyone. The city council will meet in executive session to discuss or receive advice regarding the matter of attorney-client privilege. No final action will be taken. And then fourth item is to receive and discuss a briefing regarding certain economic development prospects and potential real property acquisitions. Pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.072 and 087. The city council may meet in closed session to discuss and deliberate the purchase, exchange, lease, and value of real property if deliberation in an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the position of the governmental body in negotiations with third party. Discuss or deliberate commercial or financial information received from a business prospect that the governmental body seeks to have locate, stay, or expand in or near the city of Temple, and with which the governmental body is conducting economic development negotiations, or to deliberate the offer of a financial or other incentive to such a business prospect